My name's Ian Lindgren. I started the day representing myself, but I find now that over 60 veterans have asked me to represent them today, along with a number of organisations such as the Perth-based Veterans Emergency Services and Police Industry Institute, Pro Patria Centre Wagga, and people such as Phil Pike and the peacekeeping organisations down in Tasmania, and an anonymous veteran, and a local by the name of Amanda McHugh, and quite a number of others that I won't go on with, otherwise it'll take too much time.
I just thought to be following on from what Michael just said.
Not a problem. Thank you, Senators, for allowing me to appear here today. All those that I'm representing have asked me to remind everybody that lives depend on what we do here today. Since the Royal Commission's final report, the Australian Institute of Health and Welfare project that approximately 96 veterans have taken their own lives, and behind each of that number is a destroyed family. And in addition to that, there are approximately 135 other Australians affected. That brings it to a total of 12,960 Australians now living with loss since September last year. The Royal Commission cost $200 million, and whilst it delivered a number, in fact 122 recommendations, the most critical recommendation, according to Commissioner Nick Caldas, was 122. And that is the independent oversight to send a clear signal that the Australian government recognises the gravity of this crisis and values the lives of veterans, those who serve the country and their families. Yet Schedule 9 was designed without consultation. It bypassed the lower house, entering the Senate, perhaps hoping to slip through on bipartisan goodwill. Today we'll be reviewing amendments, or you'll be reviewing amendments, on the Accountability Act. And that Act itself had no great accountability in its creation. It would appear two people created it. And that's no criticism, because that's how it starts. But it's got to be more than two people. This should not be the final report on this task. The final report should occur after the Commission has been transparently designed, by specifications that have been laid out by the Royal Commission, implemented and then become operational, and its performance able to be measured. Veteran suicide rates are not just continuing, they are accelerating. You have a clear choice: accept Schedule 9, which has been rushed, unconsulted, and it's inadequate, or demand what veterans and their families and those with lived experience deserve, which is genuine consultation, proper design and oversight. To put a human cost on the work that's been done this month, it's estimated that thus far 6 people have taken their lives. And that equates to 1,620 affected people. And by the time this report is complete and moves through the Senate, there'll be an equal number of people. That's a lot of affected people. We urge you, and I say we, because although I started the day by myself, there is now a lot more that have asked me to represent them. We ask you to rescind Schedule 9, start again, don't throw good money after bad, don't just do something for something's sake, do it well. The question isn't whether you can afford to act, It's whether Australia can afford to lose another veteran to a system you might choose not to fix. Thank you.
Thank you.
Senator, if I may, everybody is leaping to solutions without doing the planning beforehand. And we all want to have outcomes as quickly as we can. But in order to get to the outcomes, we've got to go through a project management methodology that governs the establishment of this new commission. Now, it's got to be transparent. It's got to be it's got to be an independent statute that stands by itself. It can't one day be part of the Vets Bill and then, the next day we find it underneath the Defence Act. It keeps it within the defence portfolio. There is one and only one test to identify whether this has been successfully treated so far in accordance with the Royal Commission's wishes, and that is it totally independent? And it's not. You don't have to borrow down any further. So once we've established that, what we do is we identify a project with good governance, with stakeholders belonging from Senate, Lower House, veteran community, lived experience and other stakeholders, and we design what needs to be done. We don't try to fix everything, but we try to fix those things that are affecting us the most immediately, and which have been some of the questions that have been asked before. There's a methodical way to do it. There's a very slow methodical way to do it, but there's also a very fast way to do it.
Yeah, would you like to also bring in those other 300,000, 3,500 earth service organisations that always want to have their speak at the table too, Mr. Lingren, because we're never going to get anything resolved.
That's exactly it. We need to be able to...
I think, well, I'm like many, and I'll say it out there, I think they're getting sick of the negativity. We'd like to see change, and I just think going back and hammering just because there's a couple of things you don't agree with or whatever, I just don't think that's helpful. I have no other questions for either of them, for any of them. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, Senator Lambie. Senator Shoebridge, you there? Excellent.
I am.
You have the call,
thanks,
Senator
Chair.
Sorry, Senator Shoebridge, you have the call.
Yeah, thanks, Chair. And look, thanks everyone for their submissions, and to Julianne and everybody. Let's make this a frank and genuine exchange, and I think that's, I've always appreciated those exchanges with all of you. I think, can we just start by acknowledging this legislation kind of got rushed, did unquestionably get rushed through and took a lot of people by surprise. And that's not a great starting point after a couple of years of process with the Royal Commission. And I'm hearing that. I heard it at the time. I'm still hearing that. Is that a fair starting point, Ian?
Yes, it is, Senator. And today, I would have today probably 40 comments on various social media channels that state that.
Yeah, and I heard it at the time, and I think anyone who was listening heard it at the time, that it was being rushed through, and this process was put on to try and to pick up some of that anxiety and to try and have a productive way forward. You know, noting just how wrong-footed so many people felt at the time. Pointing out that huge trust deficit shows why being scrupulous about process and ensuring independence, and it can't just be the Defence Minister's pick, will be critical for getting the support of veterans who have a low trust environment, don't they? I mean, that's why you go above and beyond to ensure there is that kind of independence. Yep. Mr. Lindgren, there are advocates for saying just abolish this and restart. There are other bunch of people who say, well, we've got it started, so let's try and make it as good as we can make it. There's one of the questions is, what do we do now? Do we wait 36 months, get a couple of reports and then fix it? Do you think there would be a benefit in moving fairly rapidly to ensure that if there is a commissioner appointed, that they have that kind of integrity and trust, and there's a process for that. Do you think if that happened as a result of this inquiry, those sorts of amendments, that would go some way to establish trust?
Senator, this is a question that vexes all projects worldwide. It's not just unique to ours, and I'm sure you know that one as well as I do. I think the best approach is to take the world's best practice approach to a problem like this, and we've got the issues that have plagued the AFP, ASIC, and many others to show us what happens when you keep investing into something that wasn't designed properly in the first place. I think that it needs to go back and be designed under good governance with all the people that we all just mentioned, to give them that trust. To give them that trust and say the government really values us. The government really values lived experience people. At the same time, you can have a modification to these traditional process-driven project management approaches, and I would support an appointment of someone to take carriage, because someone's got to be the decision maker, a single body, and I would support that. But underneath that, then we have good governance, and I won't go into that too far because it'll bore everyone to tears. But I think it's a necessary evil to get the outcome, because what cost a life? What cost 3,000?
Yeah, and then the thought that every day we don't do everything we can to fix it, the thought of that in the cost of lives, I think, making submissions to put this committee on notice about that is absolutely critical. Mr. Lindgren?
My answer would be very same as Michael's. If it wasn't for my wife, the 18 years of absolute agony over my whole body and not being able to wear clothes without pain, and her having to put up with my irritation and abuse and desire to end it all, you can't get ahead without your family. Your family is there when you, and this is the whole. This is where the veteran and family, the defence and veteran ecosystem comes into play, Senator. It comes into play from day one at your recruit training or officer training establishment. You might start by yourself, but very soon you'll have, in my case, a girlfriend who's now my wife, and your family grows, and you rely on them every day. So it should be in there. And they protect you, they ground you. They're the ones that tell the psychiatrists what's really happening.
Can I just ask, if you were to put a test for this committee, now one test for this committee is we adopt all of your recommendations uncritically and just impose them, and I'm sure you'd all like that. Almost no witness gets that out of an inquiry. But if we were going to, we write a report and we look at our report, what should the test for this committee be? Ms. Lindgren?
The test would be, Senator, that the committee understands that an approach has been taken which was not the intent of the Royal Commission, and it fails. And we need to expend the effort to right that wrong. And that takes moral courage and leadership to do, and we have that in this room.
So it starts with not forgetting what the ultimate goal is, which Julianne says is zero suicides. That should be the ultimate goal, and we should never stop striving for that. And then not being afraid to tell hard truths about the process and where we need to go from here, and to face up to that, sort of frankly, in any report we do, and ground our recommendations in those hard truths.
This is true. I mean, a lot of people find it hard to state what they really feel for fear of losing a position on a illustrious committee, for example. I don't. I know you don't. And it's leadership. People need to be able to do that, and that's what's got to be displayed, and that's why when I gave my evidence at the Royal Commission, I suggested that a hybrid approach be taken, where the strengths of the public service and the strengths of private industry are brought together, so that things can move rapidly.
Well, it's really about how much interaction, I suppose, with Parliament.
Yes.
Or involvement with Parliament.
Now I'm back online. I think that you would find that through a investigative process, as the Commission has designed, you would find that the Commission would identify which one of those 31 departments have interaction with the defence and veteran community, and I would say it's probably just about all, and then there would be some rolling reporting, I'm just suggesting, once a year for each of those departments, maybe more for one or two that have a greater interaction with the defence and veteran ecosystem. That's been the depth of my thoughts on it. I've just defined it a number of times.